The fight ring of Dunaru never slept. It breathed, it pulsed, it roared like a beast hungry for blood and spectacle. Beneath rushed iron rafts, neon lights flickered through humid air heavy with sweat, seawater, and desperation. Illegal bets changed heads faster than punches were thrown. The circular steel arena was flooded ankle-deep with seawater, shimmering under electric glare. They called her the Queen of the Ocean, and now the announcer's voice bloomed through the cracking speakers. The undefeated Sauvagin of the tides, the Aqua Queen. She stepped forward, smiling. Ishla's black and teal blue hair fell over one shoulder, the ends tinted in a deep ocean blue that glowed faintly under the lights. She rolled her shoulders lazily, as though she were about to dance instead of fight. The sleek metallic glove on her hand pulsed with faint blue veins of light. The Aqualyte Core hummed. The polarized ferroionic lattice crystal embedded within the glove responded to the moisture in the air. The shallow water around her rippled in greeting. Across the ring stood a brute nearly twice her size, with scarred arms, hydraulic braces reinforced into his knees, a steel mesh wrapped around his fists. "You look too pretty to drown," he sneered. Ishla grinned. "Good thing I'm not the one drowning." The bell rang. He launched. The moment his boots splashed forward, Ishla twisted her wrist. The water beneath him surged upward, not as liquid, but as something denser. The glove reshaped electromagnetic alignment within the water's ions. Fluid becomes semi-solid. His foot froze mid-step. "What?" She snapped her fingers. Water hardened around both his legs like translucent pillars. The crowd erupted. He roared and swung a massive punch. Ishla ducked smoothly, sliding backward as the water beneath her feet formed a flowing current that carried her like a moving platform. "You should stretch before trying to break my ocean," she teased. He slammed both fists downward. The semi-solid water cracked under impact, splashing outward. The Aqualyte Core flared brighter, too bright. Ishla felt the familiar tremor in her palm. The crystal always intensified near high salinity. Dunaru mixed seawater deliberately for spectacle, more dangerous, more dramatic. The brute charged again, breaking free. Ishla extended her gloved hand forward. Water spiraled upward around his arm, compressing into a tightening vortex. He screamed as pressure built. "Yield," Ishla said calmly. He spat instead. She sighed. With the controlled downward motion, she liquefied the surface beneath him. The steel floor turned slick. He lost balance. Instantly, she redirected the water into a concentrated column that slammed into his chest like a cannon blast. He flew backward into the barricade. Silence. The explosion. The Aqua Queen. The Aqua Queen. Ishla raised her hand theatrically, bowing as the crowd roared her name. But inside, the Aqualyte Core vibrated with unstable energy. Power always had teeth. Up in the private balcony, Mr. Yelio observed with narrowed eyes, silver hair combed back, dark-tailored suit, a smile that never reached his gaze. "She grows stronger," one of his men murmured. Yelio tapped his glass thoughtfully. "Or more reckless." Beside him stood another figure, tall, composed, wearing a long dark coat. In his hand, an antique silver clock ticked slowly. Mr. Zuzukama, the true owner of Dunaru. He watched Ishla, not with admiration, but with calculation. Outside the ring, Ishla laughed as a cycle of fighters surrounded her. "You nearly shattered his ribs," Rex exclaimed. "He nearly shattered his pride," she corrected playfully. Mina nudged her. "One day, someone's gonna figure out that glove." "Let them," Ishla said lightly. "They still have to survive it." To her, they were family, fighters bonded not by blood, but by shared survival. None of them knew her real identity. Miss Ishla Hiroshi, daughter of the wealthiest industrial magnate in the country. In a coastal mansion overlooking the sea, another life awaited. Polished marble floors, global business calls, and a father perpetually shaping markets and empires. Mr. Hiroshi loved his daughter quietly, distantly. He was busy building the world. She was busy bending it. Only one person knew both versions of her. Miss Gina, her elderly maid, her guardian, her co-conspirator. "You smell like seawater again," Gina remarked that night as Ishla entered her laboratory beneath the mansion's west wing. It was a gift from her mother, who passed away when she was 12. "Seawater smells like victory," Ishla replied. Gina adjusted her glasses, eyeing the glowing glow. "Victory ferments if you swim in it too long." Ishla removed the glove carefully and placed it inside a magnetic stabilized cradle. The Aqualyte Core pulsed softly. "My grandmother would have loved to-night fights," Ishla said quietly. The crystal was her grandmother's final invention, the last Aqualyte Core in existence. A miracle, a danger, a legacy. "She would have warned you too," Gina replied gently. Ishla smiled faintly. The next day, Yelio summoned her. The chamber beneath Dunaru felt colder than usual. Zuzukama stood at the metal table, silver clock ticking in his palm. "So," he said smoothly, without looking up, "the Aqua Queen." Ishla leaned against the doorway. "And you must be the dramatic type." He looked up slowly. "I admire efficiency. You reshape water without generating energy. Magnetic realignment of ionic structures. Elegant engineering." Her eyes narrowed. "How do you know?" she snapped. "Because I research before I invest," he said calmly. "Invest in what?" she asked, and she smelled the danger. "In you," he said with a grin. The clock snapped shut. "I require a diamond," Zuzukama said calmly. "High security, high value. Impossible to steal unless one can redistribute weight without detection." Silence. "I don't steal," Ishla said faintly. "I know," Zuzukama replied quietly. Yelio stiffed behind her. "And that is precisely why I came prepared," Zuzukama continued. He nodded toward the wall screen. It flickered on. Rex, Mina, 2 others, burned, bruised, but alive. "For now," Zuzukama said softly, "steal the diamond, deliver it to me. Your family walks free." "You're bluffing," Ishla said. The clock ticked. Tick, tick. "Time," Zuzukama said gently, "is a currency I never waste." Something stiffed inside her, not fear, resolve. She lifted her chin. "When do we begin?" The diamond was secured beneath the Velmora Institute of Antiquities. Though the public never saw it, officially, Velmora claimed it was under advanced preservation study. In truth, it was locked inside a subterranean vault beneath the corporate research complex funded by anonymous investors. Investors Ishla suspected were connected to Zuzukama. Triple biometric locks, laser grid arrays, magnetic anomaly detection, pressure-sensitive containment calibrated to the gram. Zuzukama had chosen something almost impossible. Almost. Ishla stood on the rooftop of a rainbow tower. Wind tugged at her black infiltration suit. Her black and teal blue hair was loose, blue-tinted ends secured beneath a hood. The city lights shimmered below like fractured constellations. In her earpiece, Cora, her AI assistant's voice, remained steady. Security rotation cycle 9 seconds. Recommended entry during ventilation recalibration. Copy, Ishla whispered. You may still withdraw, Cora added. Probability of confrontation escalation remains high. They're my family, Ishla replied. We don't withdraw. She flexed her gloved hand. The Aqualyte Core pulsed, focused and stable, away from heavy seawater. She leapt, landing silently against the maintenance balcony. She pressed her palm to the glass. Moisture from the night air condensed under her command. She altered its ionic alignment, bending the internal motion sensors just enough to create a blind spot. The window slid open. She moved through corridors like a shadow. When cameras turned her way, she shaped microscopic humidity into curved refractive lenses that destroyed her image. Guards passed by, unaware that the air itself obeyed her. Finally, she reached the vault chamber. Circular, white, sterile. At its center stood a cylindrical case atop a raised platform. Crimson laser lines crisscrossed the area. Inside the case rested a diamond. It was larger than she expected, colder than it should have been. Even from meters away she felt it. Cora's voice lowered. Weight confirmation, 2.47 kilograms. Too heavy, Ishla murmured. She stepped forward, carefully analyzing the pressure grid beneath the platform. Any weight fluctuation would trigger lockdown. She closed her eyes, extended her hand. Moisture gathered invisibly around her palm. She increased ionic cohesion until its suspended water condensed into a semi-solid density. Gram by gram, micro-adjustment. Her breathing synchronized with the pulse of the core. Sweat gathered at her temple. Stability warning, Cora cautioned. I know. She liquefied the base beneath the diamond at the exact moment she inserted the water mass into the case. Half a second, perfect exchange. The pressure remained balanced, the laser remained steady, the vault did not alarm. The real diamond rested in her bare hand, and it hummed, not audibly, but perceptibly. She stared into the crystalline depths. She saw a flashback of a childhood that her grandma, glowing, holding the stone. It went back as soon as it came. This made Ishla curious. For a flicker of movement, she saw patterns inside. Wave formations, spirals, encoded geometry. This isn't just a mineral? She whispered. Confirmed, Cora responded. Internal lattice structures contain international microetchings. Ishla secured it in a containment pouch and exited as silently as she had entered. Back beneath Dunaru, Zuzukama examined the delivered diamond under warm lamplight. Impressive, he said. Ishla stood opposite him, position relaxed. My friends, she said evenly. Yelio signaled. Rex, Mina, and the others were brought forward, bruised but alive. Mina ran to her. "We knew you would come." Zuzukama's eye never left the stone. "Pleasure doing business," he murmured. Ishla inclined her head slightly, because what he held was not real. In her hidden laboratory, the true diamond rested under scanning beams. Beside it lays a flawless replica crafted from high-density resin layered with micromirror arrays. Enough to delay detection. That flashback made Ishla suspect this diamond is connected to her grandma, so she did the case study. "Cora," Ishla said, "run archival cross-reference on crystalline wave patterns from grandmother's digitized diary." Processing. The hydrographic projection shifted. "Match probability 87%, Cora replied. "Artifact currently stored under the Velmora Institute of Antiquities matches the structural sketches in the diary." Ishla's expression darkened. "Origin. Based on the geographic notes, probable source is Tiroshi Island." The name lingered in the room. Tiroshi. An isolated island nation with no political alignment, a place whispered about in the maritime myths. "Someone stole it long ago," Ishla murmured. "Data supports that theory," Cora replied. "You are escalating matters," Gina warned gently. "He never wanted it for money," Ishla replied. She rotated the genuine diamond. Under magnification, faint carvings emerged, ancient wave inscriptions. Her grandmother's diary sketches aligned perfectly. "Cora," Ishla said softly. "Yes?" "Cross-reference carvings with the archived maritime myth data." "Matching," Cora replied. "Probability 92%. Symbolic language corresponds with the early Tiroshi civilization." Ishla's pulse quickened. "The diamond is not currency," she whispered. "It's a key." "Clarify," Cora asked. "It's a stabilizer," Ishla said slowly. The diary described a network, crystalline amplifiers embedded beneath oceanic fault lines. The core in my glove is only a fragment of that network. Silence filled the lab. She looked toward the sea outside her mansion windows. "I'm taking it back." "To Velmora?" Gina asked. "No," Ishla said. "To Tiroshi." 2 nights later, her sleek vessel cut across dark waters. The real diamond rested in a magnetic containment unit below deck. The Aqualyte Core reacted intensely near seawater, vibrating with both danger and anticipation. But something felt different, less unstable, more aligned. Mist began forming ahead. Cora's voice softened. "Uncharted territory detected. Tiroshi Island likely within 2 nautical miles." The island emerged from the fog like a memory resurfacing. No ports, no visible civilization, only towering cliffs carved with spiraled patterns identical to those within the diamond. "I think it knows," Ishla whispered. And on Tiroshi Island, beneath silent waters, ancient systems long dormant pulsed once more, recognizing their guardian. Far behind her, in his shadowed chamber, Zuzukama closed his silver clock with a quiet click. He had figured out the diamond is fake. She's missing. One of the men reported. Zuzukama's expression did not change. "Send the fleet," he said calmly. "Find her. I need that diamond back." And across the dark sea, engines roared to a life in pursuit, and many secrets remains.